I usually have you do.
Oh, so I need to talk normally. I shouldn't whisper back.
Probably. You're a little
Okay.
low, I can see, but I can adjust this.
You can make it work. You have the technology.
I do. I have the technology. Let's see. So, yep. And then you guys can't see him right now, but I know this.
You're not missing much.
Oh, you're super small.
Sorry.
I
get
know.
that a lot.
I know. It's so you're still at home.
Still at home. Haven't left.
Haven't left.
Not once. We're out of food. Could you please send donations?
To where?
To cave in Thailand. I heard they need it more than me.
Oh, what's going on there? I'm sorry. I've been.
You're out of the loop on that?
Yeah, on everything, pretty much.
Okay. Yeah, life. It's weird. Usually I don't follow stories like this, but I was weirdly fascinated by it. There's some soccer team in Thailand, some kids' soccer team. They went cave exploring to celebrate the end of the season. And flash flood, they got stuck like 2.5 miles in. And just now, I think today, finally, all of them have been rescued.
Oh, they've been rescued. Yeah, no, I've been. Did you see how I tweeted out the time for all of this?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I know.
Rookie mistake.
I know.
You're slipping. You're slipping.
I am.
Sky, can we focus?
I know. I need to. So, guys, this is Dr. Paul. Ask a Spaceman. All this kind of stuff. You can do the guest command, or you can do Paul. You'll get. That's not Paul. Hi. You'll get. I have people on Tuesdays around this time that you can hear that, can't you?
Hear what?
Okay, good. Where are your fancy headphones?
Are there voices in your head?
Maybe.
Again?
Mm-hmm.
You need to talk about that. That brand new expensive headset I got.
Yeah.
It's in my office at OSU.
Oh.
And I'm not in my office at OSU. This is my home office.
Yeah, I'm sorry if everybody can hear that background noise, but there's nothing I can do about it. It's every Tuesday that they do this, right when you come on, because they probably know that you're going to be on my stream. So.
Oh yeah, they're like, oh yeah, I heard that Dr. Paul Sutter's on.
Yep.
Well, time for the yard work.
Yep, gotta go. They do all kinds of stuff.
Gotta go run the machine.
All the machines. I'm pretty sure I have.
Not sure what exactly it does. It's a noise generator.
It's a noise generator. Can you guys? I can hear a aircon or a fan. No, that's the people outside my window. So sorry about that, guys. I'm sorry. Can you guys hear him? Okay, is the volume okay for everybody?
Yes. My background theme is a low mechanical rumble.
Yes. I thought it was Dr. Paul.
Dark in here.
It did, but we could still see you.
I'm spooky now. Turn on a light.
Lights are good.
That
was
such a weak
that was
light.
the most impressive light I've ever seen. Well done.
Fantastic.
Well done. So yeah, we were just talking about. Have you heard about the Dream Chaser thing? The space shuttle.
Dream Chaser. Is this? Yeah, I vaguely remember it. It's like it's one of these. Oh, instead of launching a rocket from the ground, we'll launch it from 5 miles up, kind of things.
I think so. Like we were just talking about it because someone said that we might do a repair mission on the Hubble, but I don't think that's a thing.
Hubble is, I would say it's on its last legs, but it's been on its last legs for like
Ever.
1.5 decades now.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to be replaced a long time ago.
Right.
And yeah, with James Webb delayed until infinity, it's like Hubble is our only major optical observatory in space. We have nothing else. And it's way past its mission lifetime. It's way past any reasonable expectation of an extension of that lifetime. And it's not necessarily that something's broken, although components have started to wear down. But when you look into the cost of going up there and doing something and fixing it or adjusting it, we don't really have that capacity without the space shuttle anymore. So it's on its lonesome.
Yeah, and so do you think it would be worth repairing while waiting on James Webb Space Telescope?
The infinity long wait until the JWST launches? I don't think so. because if you look at that, you're talking at least $500 million mission just to fix it. And you can take that $500 million and invest it in ground-based telescopes, which ground-based astronomy is still a major deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you would get a much bigger return on your investment.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have, I mean, Hubble right now. So I was just reading some other news, and I don't think it wasn't looked at with Hubble, but like, do you want to tell people what the purpose of Hubble was, what it was supposed to do, what it's done?
The purpose of Hubble was that there's this really annoying part of astronomy that is called the atmosphere. And it's great for breathing, but it really sucks for getting science done, because all that beautiful twinkling starlight that makes the lovely night sky scintillate and come alive and blah, 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 it actually leads to crappy data. We don't like having air between us and stars. So Hubble was a part of what's called the Great Observatories program, where NASA took the entire electromagnetic spectrum, every kind of radiation, microwave, infrared, visible, all of them, gamma ray, X-ray, and built observatories up in space where there's not so much air. And that's pretty great. And so Hubble was the lead observational instrument in space for visible wavelengths. So it was taking lots of pictures and also collecting a lot of spectra, doing a lot of serious science, doing a lot of really fundamental basic astronomy, doing surveys, doing scans, doing long observations on single objects. We would point it at solar system, planets and moons. We would point it at distant galaxies. We would point it at the space in between galaxies to look at what's in between galaxies. We would look at star forming regions and planetary nebula, and anything you would look with a telescope, we would point the Hubble at over the course of its decades-long mission. And it's still doing that. In the meantime, since we launched the Hubble in the early 90s, I think, ground-based astronomy has taken many, many, many strides in being able to correct the distortions of light caused by the atmosphere, where now ground-based telescopes can rival the ability of Hubble in terms of data sensitivity and the ability to acquire good images. And the advantage of ground-based astronomy is that you can make your mirror really, 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 really big. The biggest one we're building right now is 30 meters across, which is gigantic. And where any space-based telescope is going to be limited by the diameter of your rocket. That's the biggest mirror you can put. James Webb gets around it by having this super complicated origami pattern of unfolding that's not quite working out so well for him because it keeps breaking. And that's one of the reasons it's being continuously delayed.
Yep. And some people were saying, so the wasn't the lens messed up once with the Hubble? Yes,
when we launched it, it was just one of these things of one guy had one job, and what they did is this company that was in charge of building the lens. I don't remember 100% of the details of the story, but it's a hilarious story. They did a practice lens, and it was absolutely perfect. Then they went to do the real lens, and something got misadjusted or misaligned or miscalculated by seriously 1 part in a million, like a micrometer. And they thought everything was fine because they did the test and the test was fine. So they did the exact same thing on the real one, but they didn't quite make it. And they stuck it in, they launched it. Hubble did its first pictures, and it was like drunk goggles. And it was like every nebula was super attractive and ill-defined. And it's like, okay, this really sucks. It didn't hamper a lot of the science that we did with the instrument, but it did hamper the science that relies on, high resolution pictures of stuff in space. So we had no idea what to do. It was a huge public embarrassment for NASA. finally some engineer, I think it was even outside of NASA, came up with an optical correction system where if you added an extra lens and mounted it in front of the primary mirror of Hubble, it would cancel out the distortions caused by this flaw in the lens making process. And we had the space shuttle, we had the capabilities, we went up to the Hubble, they pulled it in, they put on the adaptive corrective lens, and everything snapped into focus, and it was great.
Yep, and that was a pretty big error. So it was a pretty penny, wasn't it?
It was, I think it was a $200 million fix.
Yeah.
For a micrometer mistake.
Joe said, did that guy get fired?
He probably got promoted. He probably runs. He's probably Jim Bridenstine, the administrator of NASA now.
Yeah. Why can't we have a space shuttle anymore? Someone asks.
The space shuttle was kind of flawed from the start. The dream at the beginning was, hey, we keep throwing away these rockets, and rockets are really expensive, and we use them once and we ditch them in the ocean. What if we had a reusable spacecraft that could go into space, do interesting things, and then fly back down to Earth, and then we would just slap a new coat of paint on it, refill the engines, and go again. And the design that they went with the shuttle, with the boosters, so many compromises had to be made for various engineering and political reasons that the shuttle ended up being more expensive to run per launch than if you had just built an old-fashioned rocket and ditched it in the ocean every single time. And it looked cool. I remember this is like the space era that I grew up in, was images of the shuttle, and it looks super cool, gliding in for a landing, all that. And you think it's reusable, but they have to rebuild the tank. They have to rebuild the boosters. They have to completely 100% swipe out all of the thermal tiles. And among spacecraft, this design led to some serious flaws. Like, so there was the Challenger disaster,
Columbia,
where even before that.
Oh, yeah.
So in the 80s, one of the earliest runs of this, a single O-ring was subjected to conditions it shouldn't have been, and it failed and it blew up. Then later we had Columbia. We had so many issues with these tiles, and it was killing astronauts. It was expensive. It wasn't doing the job it was supposed to do. And so the actual cancellation of the shuttle program, I think, came a decade too late.
Yeah. Someone says the space shuttle is quite complex. It's much harder to land on the ground than launching.
Yeah. And now we have things like SpaceX and Blue Origins that are returning first stage rockets as a matter of course, where it's not just routine, it's super boring. Now they do it so often. And so the problems that the shuttle was designed to solve have now been solved in a much better way.
The BFR might become what shuttle was imagined to be.
The shuttle, there's a real argument that the International Space Station was built so that the shuttle would have something to do. Because the shuttle was so weak, it doesn't have a lot of payload capacity. It couldn't go very far. It couldn't go above low Earth orbit. It couldn't send people to the moon. It couldn't lift heavy things. And we're just sending astronauts up to do high school science experiments. And no joke. And like astronauts, I heard some stories from some shuttle astronauts, like they were almost on the verge of boycotting missions because they were risking their lives for really dumb science experiments.
Can you give an example of one of those?
Well, there is lots of legitimate science that was done on the space shuttle, but NASA would actually host competitions for high schoolers to design experiments, and those designs would ride along on the mission. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, which means I'm probably making this up, but that's fine. But I do know these weren't really high payoff scientific experiments. And NASA was just trying to give them an excuse to keep running missions. And the astronauts were like, we kind of got to do more. And NASA, to give the shuttle something to do, came up with the International Space Station because it was something that the shuttle could do. Mm-hmm. And they had a very symbiotic relationship. Now we don't have the shuttle, and we do have the International Space Station. It's being resupplied just fine. The things like the BFR, things like what NASA has coming down the pike are designed to be much more powerful than the shuttle was even dreamt to be.
Yeah. And it was one of the experiments how a lighter object falls faster than a heavier object in a vacuum.
They did that on the moon. That was hilarious. One of the lunar missions, they dropped like a feather and a hammer at the same time, beamed it back to Earth.
Yeah, no, we were watching a video yesterday where Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about how an ad had it all wrong, which Kronos just said, how a lighter object falls faster than a heavier. That was actually but that didn't actually get sent out to the public. They corrected it, but it almost did. It almost did. Why?
But it didn't.
But it didn't. This is why low Earth.
We're still going to complain about it.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
This is why someone says this is why low Earth orbit is being transitioned to private industry, because it is routine and NASA needs to be on the frontier.
NASA needs to be somewhere. That's my biggest issue with NASA is because of various internal and external political reasons, they change their goals, they change their missions, they change their directives every 4 years and sometimes every 2 years. And it's like any other big organization that doesn't have a clear mission or directive. It's just wherever the political winds blow, that's what they'll do. And they'll ramp up projects, hire engineers, do designs, ask important questions, and then forget it. Let's do something else, guys. And then repeat every 4 years, sometimes every 2 years. I feel bad for NASA.
Yeah, someone said the space station is going private, and then someone said, yes, it's been proposed. It's being looked into currently.
Yeah, it's been proposed, but like not a lot of private companies really want to touch it because it's super expensive to maintain. Mm-hmm. It is a big fraction of NASA's budget, and there isn't a lot of private incentive for operating the space station. There's like Bigelow Aerospace is interested in doing space hotels with these inflatable habitats, and they can live just fine without the space station. You don't need the International Space Station to maintain it. There's not a lot of interesting research that you can do on the space station. What NASA has been using the space station for is to send astronauts up there for a really long time to see how quickly we'll die in space.
Well, so Ash and Fang says, does NASA have to be somewhere? Can't we just go with SpaceX and the like?
We could. So I'm a scientist, so I'm going to be super biased here. I think NASA should be on the research side, on the fundamental technology side, on the experimental side, and on the scientific side. No one else is going to launch a mission to, say, Europa. That's not in SpaceX's wheelhouse. It's a lot of money. There's zero private interest return on that. If they want to donate, you can send the checks. P.O. Box 3322, P.O. Box Columbus, Ohio 43210. Just make it out to cash. I'll make sure it gets to the right people.
Or my P.O. Box. I can't.
What's your P.O. Box?
I need to learn. It's right there, but I need to learn to recite that and just fluidly the way.
P.O. Box 282, hygiene.
Hygiene color. I know.
It's better than dirty Colorado.
I know. I mean, hygiene's important.
It's very important. 80533-282. For Skylias.
Mm-hmm.
You can also send cheese donations to my P.O. Box.
He likes cheese donations, but might not eat it. He might not eat it.
I'll show people. I'll feed it to my dog.
Uh-oh. PETA.
I'm feeding it. It's hungry.
You lose NASA, you lose the drive. Yeah, so that's kind of like the whole thing with the frontier of space. So going out and doing the exploration stuff, going to Europa.
The sciencey stuff, but you look at SpaceX. SpaceX is designing their own rockets. their own reusable rockets. They had a lot of help from NASA, but it actually bled a lot of talent from NASA because SpaceX is the cool new thing to work on. I think NASA's place is in research and science, and there's also an aeronautics arm of NASA, which is very important, understanding materials and performance. And when it comes to sending humans and robots, or I guess when it comes to sending humans in space, I think private companies are going to lead the way. When it comes to sending robots into space, I think NASA's going to lead the way with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hope that the robotic stuff really starts to pick up too.
We need a lot more robots.
We really do.
But every time JWST gets pulled by a few years, that's a few $100 million because it's going to cost, because you need to keep the scientists employed. You need to keep the engineers employed. You need to keep the facilities online. You need someone to keep sweeping up at the end of every day, as long as there is that facility running that instrument, that satellite, until it actually gets up into space. So every time there's a delay, that's another few $100 million of a budget overrun. And that's another few $100 million that could have gone somewhere else.
Yeah. Because, I mean, let's just face it, humans are not equipped for space. Space doesn't like us. Space doesn't like humans.
Space doesn't like anything except cosmic rays and magnetic fields.
Right, just magnetic fields every time. That's the answer, guys. Robots taking our space jobs. Well, that's when you learn to program, when you build the robots.
That's right. You have to be smarter than the robot.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that happens with the younger generations, because they're going to be so just overrun with technology. That's all they're going to know. Whereas you and I mean, we started off with technology with, dealing with antenna on our TVs and trying to find how to make things work that way.
Back in my day.
A TV was a piece of furniture.
My back. No, it's interesting because I grew up as the World Wide Web, as the internet. The internet was already in place when I was a kid, but I saw the emergence of the World Wide Web in the 90s. And so I remember a time without instant access to information and communication and entertainment. And it's interesting watching the younger generation, the kids these days, who have had it since they've been zero.
Yeah.
How intuitive it is for them, the new ways they're using to exploit it. It is fascinating and scary. I guess this is what feeling old is like.
Yeah, but it's definitely very different due to, again, this Moore's law. So just, the increase in technology and then being raised in it and not knowing any kind of difference. Because I'm with you. I'm around your age, so I remember when the internet came
48.
into my home. Yep, 58.
Yeah, that's around, plus or minus.
Yep, just give or take a few. I remember calling 411. Yeah, information was a thing. Star 67, star 69. Yeah. When three-way calling was a thing.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
I remember star 69. Like you get a phone call, and you didn't know
who it was.
Seriously, you'd star 69 them to call them back.
Mm-hmm. Be like, who is this? Because that was never awkward. Stop making me feel old. Let's see. So, yeah, now everybody's all the nostalgia.
The modem handshake sounds still have a place in my heart.
Wait, the deener.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you could tell if it would connect or if it wasn't going to connect. You're like, oh, this is going on way too long. We're just
so
done.
Stressed.
Yeah. I really hope the youth get intrigued by this and more go into STEM fields. SpaceX has really brought exploration urge back to the people. And that's kind of why you have people like Dr. Paul, who actually go and get their PhD. Yeah, puts in the time for that. And he's on YouTube. He does, stream his stuff here too. But you have science communicators that are trying to get people interested in this. And then I'm here on Twitch. Yeah, so it's trying to get people to... Yeah.
I am honestly super passionate about stuff in space and how things work and physics and all that. And I just share that with people. I know it will spark some people, even if it doesn't spark some youngster to go into the field, as long as I can engender a sense of appreciation and wonder. That's good enough by me.
Yeah, absolutely. SpaceX is a great advocate. They are invigorating interest in STEM. Yeah, and
I think it has. I think they have.
Yeah, I think they have too. I think a lot of this stuff, seeing, the reusable rockets, has been absolutely amazing.
I get the feeling, and it could just be my own bias, that in the past 10 years, interest in space exploration, astronomy seems to wax and wane over the course of decades. And I feel like the past 10 years has really exploded because of things like the success of SpaceX.
And then you get things like, LIGO.
LIGO
was super
LIGO
cool.
announcements. You get New Horizons. You get these big, giant, field-changing discoveries. And it generates a lot of interest where people who normally would have no idea what the heck is going on now carry on conversations about gravitational waves.
Yeah, one of the things I do worry about is who's going to be the next Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson. Like, who's...
You mean besides Paul Sutter and Skylias?
Right, besides us. I mean, we're clearly the best candidates. But
well-positioned, connected, years of practice.
Yeah,
ready.
Yeah, totally ready. But I mean, and I hope this never gets clipped and sent to them, because it might. But I mean, they are kind of getting old.
They're a little bit aged.
And
yeah. Ask Fraser Cain. He has a fascinating comment about this. He believes that there will be no next Neil deGrasse Tyson or Bill Nye.
And he also believes that there's no alien life.
Okay, Fraser and I disagree about some things. We also agree. It's possible for us to agree on some things. And I agree with him on here. The state of media is so fractured now.
Right.
That people like Bill Nye, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Brian Cox in England, who had dominated the media landscape, come from a different form of media, where if you were on one show that was a hit on PBS or Fox or whatever, then that's it. You reach basically all the people who are going to listen to you.
Right.
But the way media is now, traditional media, TV is still a juggernaut for sure.
Yeah.
But there are so many different ways people access entertainment and education that instead you're going to have 1,000 mini Bill Nyes, 1,000 mini Neil Tysons. Like, not everyone's going to watch Cosmos. Not everyone's going to watch the next season of Cosmos. It might not even be a financial success. There's lots of people that won't bother. They'll just keep watching YouTube videos. They'll follow people on Instagram. They'll go on Twitch, and you'll see people owning those respective domains without really pushing much bigger.
Yeah. And that's, it's, I mean, there's so many different ways, like, bringing this to Twitch. I remember thinking, there's no way, like, this is a gaming website. Like, nobody's gonna, and to be honest, it doesn't have a lot of popularity. It doesn't have visibility.
But you're huge. Not physically huge. I mean, in terms of popularity.
No. I'm not. I'm actually really not. But I mean, we did have that front page, and the front page was amazing. But yeah, I think, again, I kind of get worried that it's going to come down to almost dire straits, where we're like, hey, we need more people in the fields and, STEM fields. And they're going to be like, well, why did this not happen? It's like, hi, you've had people like advocating science over here for a while. Utilize it. Right. This is tough stuff to do.
Right now I'm in the beginning stages of planning my book tour. And part of the book tour, I'm going to be visiting universities, talking to undergrads and grad students about the need for science communication and how there's no one else qualified or capable of doing it, and how they just need to get on social media, get on YouTube, get on Twitch, start a blog, do something grow an audience. It doesn't matter how big that audience is, and start sharing science directly with those people.
Yeah. Yeah. And things are like, science is so easy to love. There's so many reasons.
There's cool pictures.
Yeah.
There's Nobel Prizes. There's donuts every Thursday before the colloquiums.
Yeah, and so Chaotic Bot said
there's a big gap between 2 and 3.
There is. It's all about. There's a big gap. Let's see. It's all about appearing to people at an early age so that you become their source. Right.
You want to build trust. Mm-hmm. You want to build trust, and that's what audience engagement is. You build relationships with your audience. You build trust both ways, and you grow from there, or maybe you just stay there. But that's great because you've built a really fabulous audience that will follow you anywhere.
Yeah. They are using politics to select who should be in science. Talent is being discouraged, and there's going to be a part of that. Yeah. Naturally.
There's a big problem, I believe, in the field in science as a field, in academia as a discipline, in terms of funding sources, where the money's going, how the money's getting allocated, short-term goals lacking long-term vision. There's a problem in science itself in terms of we're graduating too many people, mm-hmm. and there aren't enough scientist positions available to accommodate them, and the incentive system is broken. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah, so learn to code, guys.
Yeah, do it.
Learn to code.
So you can program the robots.
Right.
They're going to make all the discoveries.
Yeah. Let's see. Politics and science, no good, but it exists. That's always going to be a thing.
Always the thing.
I definitely see Twitch being used as a medium to communicate or educate. Yeah, and that's been a big mission here. When I didn't think that it could be, but it's kind of been my driving force. And like Dr. Paul here, and also Fraser, Dr. Pamela, all these people didn't really know about it. I actually met Dr. Pamela at TwitchCon last year. But yeah, it is a great. I think it's perfect. Science is perfect because we're all nerds anyways, right?
There you go.
I mean, that's how that works. If money equals 0, then exit.
But yeah, you're not going to see Neil or Bill on Twitch.
Right.
You're not going to see him on Instagram.
I would love to be able to get them, but I don't, again, I'd probably have to pay them. And I'm like, why am I paying you to help out the younger generation to communicate?
When you could just do it yourself.
You could just do it. Like, just do it for
I think Neil is $140K for an appearance, an in-person appearance. I think Bill is at 80 or 100. He might be more. Even people like Phil Plait or Brian Cox, people I really respect, they're in the 10 to 20K range.
Yeah. Well, we had Phil Plait on here, for
Phil
the
Plait.
yeah.
Phil Plait, he'll come on. He's cool.
He's cool.
He's just super busy.
He is, and so he was able to make time for us when we had the partner spotlight, and that was amazing. But yeah, when you have people that actually understand that this is good for the future. Like, you can forego whatever monetary investment you might get, whatever payout you might get, just to help out like anybody else. But it's one of those things. It gets a little.
I have to turn down. Even me, I'm like a nobody comparatively, but I turn down speaking gigs. I turn down interview requests because my calendar is full.
Yeah,
and I have to pay my bills, and so I get it. And it's just the nature of the game.
Yeah. No,
someday you'll have to pay me to show up.
Well, I was going to say someday I hope that I'm able to, do that. Like, I actually could say I have a calendar and, I'm being paid. But, someday. Yeah, break.
We can dream. We can all dream.
We can. So another problem is that going to academic research is far from the most attractive option available to the brightest students. They could make several times more developing AI routines to analyze the market.
Yes. So this is part of the broken incentive system where a long-term career in academia and basically any field of science is kind of impossible. And so you're graduating bachelors and PhDs, and the smartest of them go elsewhere to have fulfilling, happy careers with stable, large incomes and families and picket fences and the whole deal. And then it's only the weirdos who are left to actually commit themselves to scientific research. I can say this because I'm a weirdo.
Yeah, same here.
Who made that choice.
Well, not doing scientific research, but I did for a bit. But that's because I had to.
And that was enough.
Now I don't have to as much. So let's see. There's someone said there was something. I know some boys that want to go into science that cannot afford it. I know girls getting full scholarships. Politics. Hold on a second. This is about to get. I am a mother of a child, and I went into computer science, and I had I had a straight A's in computer science, in need, quote unquote. I filled that, and I never got a scholarship. So just so you know,
bachelors, like everyone's gonna rack up big debts in bachelors. That's a fact of life in our modern society. That's another issue that I think needs to be seriously talked about. But graduate school in the sciences, especially the hard sciences, the physical sciences, is paid for. It's a job to get a PhD. And it's not a lot, but I received free tuition. I received a stipend for my first 2 years of graduate school. And then I won a fellowship that paid all that for me for the next 4 years.
Yeah. I was applying left and right for things like that to help me get through, because I was a single mom and doing really, really well as far as academics were concerned. And no. So it does exist that there are obviously young males or men or whatever that can enter, and also females. So it's not as like tons of girls are getting, or women are getting scholarships. It's not. They're definitely focusing on that minority thing, but. I was just talking about some. Oh, that qualifier, though. That qualifier is very important. Let's see. Best programming language is Scratch. Scratch is great to learn. So anyways, I'm trying to look for astronomy.
Python has totally overtaken the field of astronomy.
Yep. I usually recommend people learn Python.
Is by far the #1 language nowadays.
Yep. I actually learned that from Dr. Fran Bagenal of the New Horizons and Juno missions.
Nice.
Yeah. I wanted to type out countries where studying is free. Astronomy is my favorite class in high school. Teacher was so down to earth, and I actually listened and participated.
That's funny because they're an astronomy teacher.
Huh?
It's an astronomy teacher was down to earth. Just never mind.
Oh, the war. Okay.
It's a joke.
Yeah,
it's a joke.
I got it.
It's just a bad joke. We're just gonna move on.
Do you think that was just a joke? That I thought that was. Oh.
Or was that the point?
That might have been the point, but that was a good joke inside of a point.
Well, it went over my head.
He caught my pun. No, I got it. I just didn't know whether to take that as a pun or an actual comment, because I could relate to both. No, it was serious.
Because
yeah, see?
It's both. It can be both.
It was a twofer.
Serious. But I added a pun. Now I'm just confused.
See, it's a twofer. It's a pun and a serious statement in one.
Wow. Okay. I can respect that.
Yeah.
I can respect that.
Let's see. Yeah, because good astronomy teachers. I had a great astronomy teacher. I've had a few good astronomy teachers. Very down to earth.
Very down to earth.
And yeah, that can make a topic, a subject that you are really scared of or intimidated. It can make it a world of difference on how you receive that information.
It's amazing. You talk to other scientists or engineers or just anyone of how they get interested in a particular field, especially if that field is very challenging or intimidating. You will hear stories of, I had a teacher, the teacher was amazing, it sparked something in me. You'll also hear stories of, I had a teacher, the teacher was horrible, made me hate something that I loved, and I turned away from it, and then I found something else.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's a lot of people have that experience with math.
Mm-hmm. A good math teacher can make you realize that math is a skill, and it's something that develops and grows, and that one of the most damaging statements a person can make is that I'm not good at math.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I thought that too. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to go into computer science. It's great.
Surprise.
Yeah, this is a great decision because I thought I was going to be terrible at it. I always hated it because my teachers they just never engaged, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And engaging is important. So let's see. All the astronomy teachers I've had were geologists. Oh, yeah, the teacher that was the only one I still keep in touch with. That's awesome.
Nice. I still keep in touch with one of my high school teachers.
Yeah. Let's see here. I had an experience with CS, but I just found a different teacher. Yeah, computer science teachers are real hit and miss. I've learned that. Yeah.
I started out in computer science, and I remember there were some,
some
stinkers.
Yeah, like just here you go. Here's the project. I'm gonna just this is the handout. Email me if you have questions, and you email and they never get back to you. It's great.
And see you in December.
Pretty much, yeah, for the final. Problem with teacher pay. If you're good at something, you don't teach. Problem with teacher pay. If you're good at something, you don't teach.
There's a lot of discussions to be had about how we incentivize education and where the money goes, what budgets goes. That's a very deep political thing. Yeah, for some reason, society, politics, whatever, teachers get paid decently, but it varies so dramatically from school district to school district. And this has consequences.
Yep. There's those teachers who still blame you even though you're trying to.
And I would see this in computer science departments where they were offering full faculty, full professorship positions for people just out of PhD or with one postdoc, because most people with a PhD in computer science will go right to industry and make megabucks.
Right. Yeah.
And the universities couldn't compete with that. And so the only incentive they could make was like, well, you'll get a job and you'll never, ever be fired unless you commit gross moral turpitude.
Yeah. It makes me feel better that Paul and Sky had the same experience with what? With computer science, just having just bad teachers. And it can happen anywhere, really. I mean, really. So
by the way, if you hear children singing and or screaming in the background, it's totally normal.
Totally normal. I'm used to it. I don't even notice.
Don't worry about it. Don't call the cops. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So someone said, so what's Dr. Paul excited for in astronomy and the astrophysics in the future?
Ooh, that's a fun question. I am excited for a few things. I have to temper my excitement though, because my own particular fields of interest, cosmology, study of the history and evolution of the universe, were in kind of a tight bind where in order to answer some really fundamental questions, we have to spend a lot of money and build some really expensive gear and analyze the heck out of it. And so these kinds of missions won't pay off for another 10 or 20 years. I don't think there's going to be a big break in cosmology for at least another decade or two. Mm-hmm. So I have to look to other fields. What interesting stuff is happening there? One is the search for life outside the Earth. I will think we're going to have something interesting coming in the next 10 or 20 years. And so I'm really excited by that, even though that's not my own field. I feel like when it comes to understanding the nature of dark matter, we have to learn something within the next 5 or 10 years. We absolutely have to, or there's going to be problems. We, in the field of high energy physics, same deal. We have to find something past the standard model of particle physics, or we're really stuck. And so there just has to be something, or that entire field, I think, is going to die on the vine. And I'm getting a lot more excited than I used to be about planetary science and exploring the solar system. There's so many nooks and crannies. Our solar system is like a giant English muffin. There's just so many unexplored pockets that we'll learn a lot right in our own backyard.
Yeah. Everybody's still talking about the CS stuff. It's kind of interesting.
That's fine.
Yeah, no, and I think you're right that there won't be any huge leaps and bounds, in the near future.
5 to 10 years is just, unless there's a surprise, which everyone is like looking at the Large Hadron Collider, just crossing their fingers, hoping for a surprise. Everyone's looking at the instruments that are trying to unlock the first generation of stars. They're hoping for a surprise. Other than that, it's just plugging along.
Yeah, they just, I was just talking about one of the press releases with a quasar that's about 13 billion light years away.
That's a far quasar.
It is. And
something funny
cool.
seems to be happening in our early universe, and we're still trying to work out the puzzle pieces.
Yeah, I want to know more about our early universe. I think everybody does.
Well, join the club.
I know. And what's really cool about that is there's a few things when we see things observationally like that, with that press release that just came out about that quasar, is that you're looking at things as they were back then.
Yes, it's our universe, or it's
baby pictures.
It's baby pictures of another patch of the universe. It's postcards from distant relatives.
Yeah. So, I mean, today, you know, what do you think that would look like? So I'm trying to actually dredge out of you what do you think, pull out of you, what do you think that would look like today, a quasar 13 billion light years away?
Today, it looks like the Milky Way. It looks like Andromeda. It looks like any nearby galaxy. One of the fundamental principles that we hold in cosmology, and we've tested this principle, is that the universe is basically the same from patch to patch. That our local volume of the universe, with its collection of galaxies and its population of galaxies, its demographics, its statistics, looks pretty much the same as any other random patch of the same universe. So when we look at a distant quasar, we're seeing the universe as it was back then over there.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to assume that our patch of the universe looked pretty much the same back then. And that if we ran the clock forward, if we could get a postcard from today of that patch of the universe, it would look pretty much like our patch of the universe.
Yeah, so if we were to look at something that was, let's say, 5 billion, or we could say 4 billion light years away.
Because that's way different than 5.
Right. Well, you know, I'm going with Earth's.
Oh, I see. There's a reason why you switched from
There
5.
is. So if something was 4 billion light years away and it was looking back at Earth, anywhere in space, what would it see?
Yes. If it was 4 billion light years from Earth and it had a really powerful telescope, like, I don't know, a James Webb.
Right.
And it pointed it at our galaxy, and it could see inside of our galaxy, it would see a protoplanetary disk that would someday grow up to be our own solar system. So the exact same way that we look out and we see baby solar systems just forming, they would see that of us right now.
Yes, that is what. Well done. We did I would fist bump you right now, but I can't. That was a good job.
We can do a really cheesy virtual fist bump.
That was a slow one. You're doing really slow. I was trying to think
I'm just enjoying seeing my fist get very, very low.
Mine just gets bright because I have lights everywhere.
Oh, because you got a light there.
Yeah.
See, you need the really weak light.
I know.
You need the really, really light that is not good at its job.
And that's I was trying to wrangle that question, because a lot of people say, well, you know, if there's something out there and it was looking back at us, wouldn't it see us as, you know, our baby photos? If it were, you know, again, 4 billion light years would be around that time of that protoplanetary disk.
Right. The analogy I like to use is, let me bounce it off you guys, is you have cousins in Europe and you don't have internet, you don't have phone, you just send postcards. And it takes like a month for the postcard to get across the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So they take a family portrait and they write like, oh, miss you, you know, the cheese is great over here. And they mail it to you. You get it a month later. So at the moment you get that postcard, it's not of that your cousins as they are at this instant. It's the moment when they sent the postcard from 4 weeks ago. And the same thing, you write a postcard, you snap the picture, say, no, the cheese is even better over here. You snap the family portrait, you send it to your cousins. You know it won't get there for 4 weeks. So they don't see you as you are 4 weeks later. They see you as the moment when you sent the postcard. It's time delayed communication.
Yeah. And everybody said, this isn't awkward at all. Well, not everybody said that. One person did. Yeah, it wasn't. That cheese is moldy. Well, moldy.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's moldier.
It adds a little tartness to it.
What do you think we'll create that will contribute the most to space travel exploration?
I wish
Dyson swarm.
more. Stop it.
Okay, go on.
I wish people would investigate more about microsatellites. I think sending swarms of cheap, easily disposable, single mission, single use, throwaway space probes will reveal a lot of information about our solar system.
So CubeSats.
Yeah. CubeSats. Let's get like 1,000 CubeSats in the solar system.
Yeah.
Let's take this place over.
I didn't whisper anything. You didn't hear anything.
I didn't hear a single thing.
No, I didn't whisper anything. Nope. I might have said CubeSats. Maybe that's what I said. Wait, what? Those solar sail close to light speed?
No, that's.
Yeah. What do you think about those?
I think it's not going to work.
Yeah. And what are some? I forget. There's so many things that have light and sail and sun and shade, right. And I can't.
And umbrella and pergola and gazebo. Like there are just so many options.
So lightsaber.
Lightsaber, yes, the lightsaber concept. A light sail is a relatively decent concept where you unfurl a big sheet. The sheet is very reflective. Light bounces off of the sheet and it pushes you around. Like a sail, but for light instead of wind.
And so you think?
I think light sails are all right. I think they're challenging to develop, but not impossible. There have already been a few successful tests of light sails. What Eladriel was asking about was the Starshot initiative, I think, where we want to send a microsatellite, not even a CubeSat. We're talking something that's like a centimeter across. We want to attach it to a light sail and then shoot a giant laser at that sail and propel it close to 10% the speed of light and send it on a multi-decade mission to the nearest star system. I don't think that's going to work.
Yeah, someone says, think about the breakthrough Starshot. It uses photons momentum.
Yes. By shooting a laser at a sail, you're stealing momentum from the photons and delivering them to the spacecraft.
Okay. Starshot, is that the name of the light sail?
Starshot is the name of the whole project to send a micro probe to Proxima Centauri. And that is their best guess of how to do it.
And why Proxima Centauri? Just because it's close?
Because it's close.
And do they realize that there's not much we could really... Okay.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's just...
I feel like Alpha Centauri, A or B, might even be better.
They might be going to Alpha instead of Proxima. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Either way, it's like 50 years to get there.
Yeah. Right. Well, with the project, they would say 50 years.
Yeah, because even if Proxima is 4 light years away,
right,
and you're at 10% the speed of light, that's 40 years. Not even counting acceleration.
Right. Sorry, I always get these so confused. There's so many like light star shot sail.
Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't even know what's happening anymore.
I guess Solo is halfway decent.
Yeah.
Just it gets complicated.
It does. So I don't really retain that so much. Oh wait, this is science. Sorry. Let's see. Laser would probably have to be space-based.
Yeah. Would you want someone like Elon Musk, as much as he smiles, would you want to give him the world's most powerful laser ever seen and put it in orbit around the Earth? Think about that. Think about that.
I don't think I know enough about him personally to make a good decision on that.
I don't. I'd want to have dinner with him first before I hand him the keys to the space laser.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we could trust Martha Stewart, and then she ended up going to jail or prison. You know?
Yeah, you can't know.
You can't know these things, right? Like, I really trusted
until you
Martha
give them
Stewart.
the keys to the laser. You don't really know how they're going to act with the keys to the laser.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's like, no, look, this woman's making, twig dolls.
Apple pies.
Yeah.
And twig dolls.
Cinnamon
Apple
twig
dolls and twig pies.
Next thing you know, she's in the penitentiary.
Yep. So maybe not the best candidate for the space laser.
Right. One word, Space Force. Yeah, we have a meme emote up for Space Force.
I want to see the Space Force.
People, you should put it in the chat. Could you? Please.
Yeah, Joe thinks you are the next Martha Stewart.
I'm not.
He's saying because you're going to go to jail.
Great. Wonderful.
You're going to follow her trajectory.
Welp, it's been a good day.
It's been a good run.
Yeah, look at there's.
You can still Twitch from jail, right? Probably not.
Probably
not. You can blog from jail. Can you blog from jail? Probably not.
They might have a library.
Could you write letters and then someone will read aloud your letters and that will be your Twitch stream?
That would be incredible.
Mm-hmm. We'll make it happen. I'll help you out.
I'll help you out. Yeah, because you're on Twitch. You can do that.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just read. And today's letter from Sky.
Yes, and today it's
my
going to
cellmate Angelina made me get a tattoo on my wrist.
It was only slightly as painful. I was expecting worse. I survived.
I was expecting worse. But now I guess I'm in a game.
I thought this was just an astrological symbol. The Planetary Society is setting up the LightSail 2 in October or later as proof.
Oh, good for them. Good for them. Because I think their last test failed miserably.
Oh?
Yeah, they sent up a LightSail test and I think it failed to unfurl.
Oh.
Or unfold. I don't know what the word is, but it didn't go. It didn't do the thing.
Yeah. It didn't unfold.
It didn't sail on light.
Okay. Wait, if you twitched from jail, then you would have to pay for rent or food. Why would you have to?
I'm suspicious of Zippy Chai's perspectives on jail.
Yeah. Dr. Paul, why was that rocket fast? Sorry, Daddy Cupcake's been asking this question, but...
Yeah. What's this? A fast
rocket?
Rocket?
Oh, right here. It says, so Dr. Paul, what about the fast rocket? So capital F-A-S-T, rocket.
Fast. Like, so you have to yell it?
Maybe. That might be screaming. So the fast rocket. I don't want to yell in people's ears.
Russia just launched the fastest cargo mission ever.
Oh, today's ISS resupply.
Okay. Is it fast? I don't think it was fast because of the speed. Or maybe it was.
No, you're good, Daddy Cupcake. You're totally fine. You were asking it for a while. I was just finding a way to work it in.
I like Mommy Cupcake better.
Great. Did you know about this fast rocket? I mean, or whatever this is.
What made it fast?
I don't even know. I don't really keep up with ISS stuff.
It just took it 4 hours to reach ISS.
Fastest to get up ever.
Okay. But I don't think because it had a fast launch. I think it was just a lucky coincidence of orbit, I'm guessing.
4 hours from launch to approach.
Okay.
It says it was fast because the ISS was overhead the launch site when they sent it up, so it didn't have much to do. So it didn't have to do much fancy course corrections, just like you said.
I see. Yeah, I'm reading this paragraph from a space.com article. It normally takes 2 days, but the Roscosmos, the Russian space agency, found a way to reduce the travel time to less than 6 hours, and then today it was just 4 hours. I think it must have been just launched at a really opportune time. They did the math. Vodka fuel. Yes, that's what powers all Russian launches and scientists.
Hopefully it's high quality vodka. None of that McCormick stuff.
Oh, there's a bias here.
A little bit.
An issue.
A little bit.
Well, thanks for the correction, Carbonaceous 14. The light sail deployed, but the radio failed.
Okay. Yeah.
They should have turned it on before it launched.
I understand that part. Oh, well, I don't understand that part. What part? Okay.
All the parts.
All the parts. Math is delicious now with more square roots.
That was almost a joke.
That was almost DPI. I'm going to give you a 5 out of 7.
Yeah, I was going to say 90%. That's a B plus.
Turn on the radio and leave it on next time. Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
It's kind of how it's supposed to go. But I know that you've been on for the hour now, and I know we didn't get a lot of questions. I think I came into the stream being like, well, he's on in an hour. And then I was like, oh gosh, I have to fill time for this hour. Actually, it's more like 2 hours. So I'm not on it right now. I'm off my game today.
I've got a link for you guys, a movie trailer that you can enjoy in the next hour.
Please.
Even though the trailer is only 2.5 minutes.
Please.
Put the link here. This is a movie coming out. I don't know. It's coming out September 4th. It's going to be DVD and online. I think it's going to be Amazon. I'm not 100% sure. They haven't announced. It's called UFO.
Uh-huh.
And I was the science advisor for it, and I'm in one of the scenes. And it's hilarious.
I'm so excited. Wait, in the trailer, though, do you see you?
I'm not in the trailer.
Okay.
You don't see me in the trailer. They wouldn't put my face in the trailer.
I mean,
they put Gillian Anderson, David Strathairn, Alex Chance, Ella Purnell. Really great cast.
Really cool. And also, do you mind putting a link into your quantum entanglement thing so we can watch that real quick?
Yeah. I will
play it on stream. We will. Well, because we'll look at so you're doing a series on it though with the quantum entanglement stuff. You didn't try to do it.
I did one podcast episode, and then I'm doing 2 YouTube videos.
Okay.
On entanglement.
So do you have one of the 2 YouTube videos?
Let's find out.
And we can watch that because I need to get food, and that's usually what I do.
So here's one. It's about Schrodinger's cat.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one comes out tomorrow at noon.
Perfect. Yes. Perfect. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And I will talk to you next week. We're going to have Dr. Ethan Siegel on tomorrow. So.
No way. You got Starts with a Bang.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's been on here before, but so.
He's been on here before.
He's been on here before, Yeah, no, it's going to be good. So I'm telling everybody that's going to. Some people really want that higher level discussion astronomy stuff, and I'm like, guys, my brain, I can't. So
he's got the brain. I have a film producer friend that calls Ethan Two Beards.
Yeah, because he does the split.
He has 2 beards.
He splits them.
He has 2 distinct beards. So he's got the brains. He's got the beards. I've just got some stubble.
Yeah.
I don't have 2 beards.
Yep.
0.1 beards.
0.1. Well, thank you so much, and I will talk to you next week.
Absolutely. Have a good week.
You too.
Thanks, everyone.
See ya. And meeting, because it's difficult, because I'm being difficult. Yeah, I apologize, guys. I'm totally off my game right now with all of this stuff. I thought that the interview time is being weird to me right now. But we're gonna watch that Eskimo. I got those links. We'll watch it together. But first, let me see here. I have to fix certain things. I don't need to be this big anymore. It's interesting. Usually we talk about more space stuff, but that is space related. Education is space related. So that I do like that he kind of went into that a bit rather than just being like, here's some really cool space facts, because we're going to have streams or sessions like that since he is on every Tuesday. He's talked about other things too, and I still have to reply, but life has been really just. But you can find him also on Twitch, guys. He has that whole link. Do !Paul or !guest for today. That does change. Nice combos and good interaction. Yeah, so it was a little bit, sometimes we really start getting into a lot of space stuff. And also I hope you guys contribute with questions. And so but the education stuff is a real thing. Something that I'm hoping. Oh, I really hope that Twitch sees the relevance and importance.